Hello there. As you may be able to tell, I may be a month early, but that is besides the point. So, as Santa, the expert on sweets, milk, and everything in between, you may be curious as to what I personally enjoy the most for cookies, because I'm left plenty of cookies throughout the year. Like right now, I've been on a diet, I've lost 200 pounds, but I'm gonna gain it all back next month. Okay, here we have a list from God tier and all the way to horrible. We got a list from cookies that you would find in stores to got little graham crackers and everything in between. So we're gonna start right here. Looks like Chips Ahoy and Reese's Pieces combined inside. That is a pretty great combination. Chips Ahoy, they got a great little texture, and then the Reese's Pieces, the peanut butter chocolate just really adds to it. I really like it. Vanilla wafers, I'm gonna go off this tier list solely based off of whether you have milk with it or not. Because although these can be pretty good with milk, by themselves, they're kind of average. They don't really leave too much to be desired. These kind of look like macadamias or white chocolate, and either way, I would say they go high C. Santa doesn't mind a few nuts in his mouth, but there's a limit to that. Oreos. I mean, the Oreos are definitely one of the top tiers, but if we were to have to pick one that was higher up, it would have to be the double stuff. Which, I mean, you don't get me wrong, more Oreo, more cream, you can't really go wrong with that. I mean, honestly, I feel that would be the best bet right there. Okay, you know what? Santa is gonna just turn off his voice changer. There we go. Okay. So here we have a double. This kind of looks like the Girl Scout cookies, like the double chocolate one. I would say that is above average because chocolate is very nice. It's always good to get that nice little mix and variety. And personally, you can never go wrong with more chocolate. So, you know what I'm saying. Chips Ahoy. I mean, I would say Chips Ahoy definitely up there. It's definitely up there, but they're your basic cookies. The Oreos, they are timeless. The Chips Ahoy, they are halfway there, but not quite. There's just something like there's not really any distinctness that really just makes me excited when I have them, or at least for the original. However, if we were to go to the chewy ones, I personally would say that is an S tier. Santa had those quite a bit when he visited a few houses in suburban white neighborhoods, and they were quite good. Instead of making cookies, they would just buy these, leave out half a tray of these, and I would not mind. Famous Amos. When Santa was younger and he played the ball, he would buy these, and although they were okay, not really much going on, to be honest. Santa just doesn't really like them as much as he could, There's just not really much going on. It's kind of dry. Considering it's like packaged like that, it's not too bad. But there are better options out there. Then we got the honey-made graham crackers. Graham crackers, they are, I don't know if I'd really consider them a cookie, but they're on this list, so we will rank them anyways. Graham crackers are solid. They are great, but by themselves, they are just a little above average. When in combination with other things, such as applesauce or milk or something in between, it could be a pretty good option. But for this, I would say it's a little above average. Definitely a high B. Let me take a look at this. Let me zoom in. Oh, Samoas. Okay. Now I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay. I would have to put Samoas. I'd say high B. They're pretty solid. I haven't really had them too much, but the one time I had it was kind of the bomb. Because one time when I was out going through the billions of houses, there was a few trays of separate Girl Scout cookies, and Samoas, they had a nice little impact that I still can remember, even though it's been about 15 years. Oreo Thins. I mean, to be honest, if you're getting an Oreo, you don't really need to have it so thin for a diet because it's less flavor and you're still eating a cookie anyway, so you might as well just gun with the original. If you don't like as much from the double stuff, get less. If you don't like the mega stuff, get the double stuff. I don't know, it just seems like kind of a waste, you know? You're potentially buying thinner cookies, which it seems like more, but if you combine them all, it's not really much more than if you just buy a different one. Grandma's cookies, ooh. Santa has not had a very good experience with Grandma's cookies. They tried getting Santa once with some, and it was actually dirt. But Santa, he was vigilant, and he could smell the sand of the Sahara inside the cookies. Vanilla and chocolate. Vanilla and chocolate it's a great combination, but if you're looking for something that is vanilla and chocolate, I would usually go with something like an Oreo instead. But maybe that's just because I'm old school, you know? Maybe I've gotten so used to the new guys that I'm just not really big on switching up. Ginger snaps. They're a little better than Grandma's, but Santa's not super big on ginger in his cookies, so I would have to put that a little bit below average. If we're talking just by themselves, you know? Oatmeal raisin. Okay. So, Santa's gonna have to be transparent with you. He may not be the healthiest guy around. He might not be the healthiest guy. Don't get me wrong. The oatmeal inside the oatmeal raisin, great. Santa loves it. Raisins, however, You know what? We'll put it in F, because although the oatmeal is great, the raisin, we can't settle for that. No, sir. We got the chessmen. I would have to put these bad boys. I would put them... Santa did not have these bad boys too much in his trips across the world, if I am being honest. But the few times I have had them, they've been pretty good. They've been a solid choice, and I do always love getting the knight. It is always a great one. Now, Santa does not remember the name of these bad boys, but he has had them before, and Santa does love crunchy things. So, he would put it above the Oreo Thins, but below the chessmen. Nutter butter, ooh. Peanut butter, you know, Santa, he's more of a chocolate guy, but Santa could definitely see the appeal to peanut butter. Can definitely see the appeal to the peanut butter. Definitely would be high B, just barely behind the Samoas. Just barely. Just like a tinge, you know? Just a tinge. Nothing too crazy. Oh, you think the vanilla wafers are way too low, huh? I think they're way too low. Is that so? Well, you know, personally, I would say by themselves, they get kind of repetitive. They kind of fall under the same boat, Famous Amos. You have them so much to a point where it gets kind of dull, and it doesn't really have a whole lot to offer. But actually, now that I look at this once again, I would say, we'll say top of C, because they can have great potential, but they are not the greatest. And Famous Amos, we'll shift them over as well. Alright, and then got the S'mores Oreo. Combines graham cracker, vanilla, well, marshmallow, and chocolate. Which sounds like a pretty good combination, but when it comes out all together, it's a little much. It's not really as amazing as it would be, or at least Santa has such a big idea of what he is aspiring for that it doesn't hit the right spot. You go enjoy doing that, Joshua. I know that is on your Christmas wish list to do it with this here Belty Airsoft. I will see what I can do to make that happen for you. Okay, now we are on to raspberry and vanilla. Santa's very basic with his cookies. He likes his chocolates. But raspberry and vanilla is quite a delectable combination. I would say below the vanillas, above the vanilla and chocolate. These, oh. Santa does love his sugar cookies. That is to be certain. Santa does love his sugar cookies. You just cannot deny the appeal of sugar in its purest form. Chocolate's good, vanilla is always good, but Sugar cookies always will remain in Santa's heart for all of eternity. Now we are on to fudge stripes. This is just, your typical chocolate glaze over. These are some pretty solid contenders. These are some good OGs. I like them, but if I were to compare them to the rest of the items on the greatest, then I would have to say they fall a little short. Teddy Grahams. Santa had Teddy Grahams quite a bit when he was younger. They were pretty solid, but if I were to compare them to, say, the graham crackers, it's kind of my same argument earlier of having less is not always more. Now, circus animal cookies have a special place in Santa's heart. Santa always used to want to have these bad boys, but usually he would just come across normal chocolate on the little cookie platters that you leave at night. But on the few houses we did encounter, it was quite a treat. Definitely up there with some of the greatest. Now I'm going to let me change this to the can't read. Now, although these two look very familiar, the image quality is what they would call dog shit. So Santa will have to leave it there. Now, Chips Deluxe, who doesn't like more of a giant cookie? That sounds great. I think we're gonna have to put that high B though, because although it is great, it is a little dry. I will have to admit, it's a little dry. Santa likes a little bit of moistness in his cookies, just a little bit, a little hint. Now we have the sugar cookies that you will often find in grocery stores. Now, I know there are two types of people. There are those who would put it here, and then there are those who would put it here. Santa will take the middle of the road, and Santa will put it A tier. Santa never really got this quite too often, but you got to appeal the extra sugary bit. It can be a little much to have more than one, as it could be a little overwhelming or oversaturated, but when it hits good. Vienna fingers, Santa did not really have this too much, so I would probably have to say they're a little below average. Well, no, they're average. They're average. I can't deny that. They did deserve to at least be C. So here we have the fudge stripes. Santa, he does like his chocolate and mint, but mint could be a little when it comes to chocolate, because you either get mint to where it is so overwhelming where it takes over the chocolate, or it just blends with it and makes it a little bit weirder of a taste. So I would say below the Samoas, but still pretty solid. I do like me some mint, I will not lie. Milanas, these, I'm a little biased. I really enjoyed these when I would find these bad boys. I like the little wafer-shaped ones sometimes, It reminds Santa of when he was younger, and he was a strapping young lad. And I think just for the sake of that, we would have to put that in the A tier. It's definitely one of the greatest. These Oreos, ooh. So like Santa said, he's not super big on vanilla in his cookies. But he does understand that he can learn to tolerate vanilla once in a while. And here we have the sewing kit. But I guess we will act like there are cookies inside the sewing kit. Now these are pretty good when there's not a sewing kit in there. But usually Santa has found, when people leave that out for him, that it's actually just full of knitting needles and everything in between. Biscoffs, Santa loves his biscuits. Although it is not overly sweet, there is something charming just about something so plain, There's just this appeal to it that it has its effect on Santa. Alright, so right here it looks like the mint Oreo thins. As Santa said before with the thins, less is not always more, and then if you make it mint, even less. Now, Swedish Fish Oreo. Swedish Fish, they're a particular case for Santa. He does not mind them, but in Oreo form, they're not too bad. He wouldn't go crazy if he saw them on a little doorstep, but they are at least above average. I can see the appeal to it. Pirouettes. Santa used to be a little bit of a smoker when he was younger, so he does find some nostalgia when looking at these. But as for the actual taste, however, they're alright. They're alright. Maybe Santa just got a bad batch, but he's never really found like some really great ones. Fig Newtons. Santa does not like fruit. Santa hates fruit. If I see, no, I'm kidding. If Santa were to rate this, it's average. I mean, Fig Newtons, they can be pretty solid, but for the most part, I do not see them as more than a cereal bar. That is about it. Pockies. We'll just say these are just Pockies in general. Santa would have to put Pockies a little above average. Above the Teddy Grahams, but about right here. Pockies are a pretty solid one. Although, they are thin sticks, and, you get that nice little crunch. It's fun to, once in a while, have a few joints. It's always great. Animal crackers. Well, I still find it weird that these are considered cookies on the list, but Santa does love his animal crackers, so I would have to put these, I would say, gotta put them in A tier, because although you can argue everything below, it's more deserving of it being a cookie. If we're counting this, the nostalgia and the consistency throughout all of the animal crackers, and getting that lion once in a while, definitely worth it in the end. Now these look like Madeleines, but I'm not quite sure. So, if they are Madeleines, as I think they are, put them a little below Pockies. Okay, strobe waffles. I mean, the fact that these are even considered cookies kind of rustles my feathers a little bit. It upsets me a little bit to see this. A little bit. Now, Santa does not mind these, but if he's going off of a cookie tier list, then I think by themselves they aren't too bad. They're pretty solid. They got a nice little taste. They are a little thin, but that's fine. I think Santa is going to move vanilla wafers up into the B tier, and then he's going to put the strobe waffles at the top of C tier. Can't even read this. I can see the oatmeal right there. So, that automatically makes it at least C tier. But I can't really judge something that I am unable to see. So we'll put it high, can't read. The chocolate Girl Scout mints, I mean, like I said earlier, Santa, he does not mind a mint. Mint with chocolate can be pretty solid, and this pulls it off pretty well. I would say it's a little above the fudge stripes, but is not above the Samoas. And then we got, these look like the Snickerdoodle cookies. Santa, he likes his Snickerdoodles. They're pretty nice. But if you compare a Snickerdoodle to a sugar cookie, 10 to 1, Santa will usually go with the sugar cookie instead. Now here we have the fortune cookie. Fortune cookies are always fun to have from the restaurants, but compared to other cookies, they falls a little short. So I would say the fortune cookies are right at the bottom of C, because most cookies are overly sweet. This one, obviously, it's not going to be too sweet. Actually, no, you know what? It's above these vanilla Oreos. Santa's not picking them. Now the sugar cookies with M&Ms. I mean, if Santa's being realistic, that's got to be in the A tier. Santa does love his chocolate. He does love his M&Ms. And if you combine the two, that's a pretty great combination. And then for our last 4 on this list, we have the 4 from the sewing kit. Now, out of all of these, my favorite would have to probably have to be this one right here. I don't know why, but that one just seems to have the best taste. And then second would be the oval. Third would be Santa might be a little controversial for this. He likes the pretzel more. He likes the pretzel just like a little more. I would also say Samoa's high B. So Santa's going to make his final adjustments on the list, and then we will confirm everything. Okay, I think this is Santa's complete cookie tier list. If you disagree, remember, I know where you live, so I would not recommend that. But other than that, thank you for taking the time to watch me as I have possessed this mortal. And thank you for watching. For watching, I will offer you 4 doubloons.